Well, back after playing 3 games in 3 days in the Paradise Jam in Washington, D.C., I think we learned a lot about our team. We probably played our most complete game on Thursday against Syracuse, who's currently 6-0, and I imagine will be in the top 25 this week. We gave ourselves a great opportunity, had a great shot to win the game with 8 seconds left. Did not go in, executed really well to put ourselves in a position, because we only had 1 team foul, to put them on the line with 6 point, I think, or maybe 5.2 seconds left, and got a chance to advance it and got a pretty good open look at a 3 to send it to overtime. On Friday, we did not play well. We got an early foul trouble. I thought George Washington dictated most of the game. We made a good run in the third quarter, got it to 5. They scored the last 3 possessions of the third quarter. And then the magic of playing 3 games in 3 days. You can't really dwell on whether you played well or not. And I thought our team in the Vanderbilt game played as unselfishly as we have all year. We ended up with 20 assists after that was a big concern in the George Washington game, when we had 3 assists in the first 3 minutes of the game and 1 the rest of the game. So I like what I saw from a mentality of bouncing back. It wasn't the prettiest overtime. We held them to 1 field goal. Good thing that we scored 2. But to see, again, people in different situations, people have a bad game on Friday, be able to come back and put that behind them, I think we saw growth in our team. And that's what you hope that tournament is able to simulate a lot of the what's going to happen at the end of the year in the Big Ten tournament, to have to play back-to-back to hopefully back nights. I think, again, moving forward, we had a little bit of a lineup change with having accessibility to Kendall Shaw finally, after not having her for both the Southern and the Syracuse games. We're able to have her play against both George Washington and Vanderbilt.
Kind of read through that. So far early this year, when you've been good, you've been pretty good. When you've been bad, you've not been competitive. Can you tell what it is in your team and how they're playing that separates the 2 teams you have?
Yeah, I wish I could, pinpoint it to 1 or 2 things. I think defensively, when we've been able to change defenses and just the activity level, I think just concentrating. Again, it's learning how to win, and I think that it's not just coach speak. I think when we played, and again, I thought our effort was great against Syracuse. And to be able to say that's what you have to have. And a lot of the controllables, taking care of the basketball, executing, even if you don't make the shot. The George Washington game, a big part was we did not execute. We did not run things the way. It wasn't that we executed and just missed a lot of shots. We forced ourselves. When you see that you don't have that high level of assists, you're not playing basketball the way it's intended, where people are getting touches, the ball's getting inside and out. So I think trying to look at those and really examine with the team of how everybody can be a part of that, whether they're in the game or not, making sure we have people on the same page. And I think the one thing that has held tried and true, it's not a matter of the kids don't want to do it. I think we have tremendous buy-in. Whether it's somebody playing 39 minutes a game or somebody who's getting a lot of things done in practice and warm-ups. But I think from an execution standpoint, that was the biggest difference. And when we haven't played as well, and when you don't execute, I think we took it to the other end on the defensive end and not able to play at that same level I think we're capable of. I think not being able to rebound. And again, we saw Vanderbilt had really controlled George Washington on the glass. That doesn't matter if shots are going in or not. You can always rebound the ball better and put yourself in a position where a team can't get confidence.
Jonathan, what do you think your team is doing well that maybe you weren't sure they were going to, or even maybe you thought, okay, you know what, we should be pretty good at this?
I think we've done a better job of forcing people to take contested shots. A concern going into the Syracuse game, they were averaging 21 offensive rebounds a game. We knew they would take a ton of threes. We knew they would take contested threes. Is being able to be in that right position, and whether it's keeping the ball in front on a drive or closing out to somebody what their strengths are. I think we've done a good job. Even in the Southern game, with some of the shots they made in that game, I felt like we guarded pretty accurately. And if you can make a team have to take a lot of contested shots, even really, really good teams, those percentages are going to go down. I think on the offensive end of trying to make sure that we're staying aggressive, I look and see where we are from a free throws attempted standpoint. We're much further ahead of where we were last year at this point. And again, that then you have to be able to convert. We come back to the Syracuse game when we go 14 for 22 from the line, and it's a one possession game. So again, it's one thing to get there; it's another thing. It's another thing to be able to convert those. So those are kind of one aspect I think on both sides of the ball. I think again, Nia Beverly brings us a different segment to be able to pick the ball up and pressure it. I thought Kayla McMorris's defense has really improved, and just a toughness of understanding every game there's going to be a situation that wasn't going into the game, whether it's foul trouble, whether it's a team changes and puts something new in, that you've got to be able to respond to. And I think the team is doing a better job of that this year as well.
What do you know about Pitt? And in general, how do you like, there's been an ACC challenge, Big Ten challenge for a while. How do you like these things, and do you think your team gets into conference pride stuff?
Yeah, Pitt's playing really well. They've played 5 of 6 at home. I think it's really smart scheduling by Coach McConnell-Serio. She has a younger group. They've able to kind of get their whole roster. They're missing a couple players the first couple of games. They get out in transition. They're a team that I think understands who their primary options are and makes sure the right people are getting the shots in positions they can be successful. As far as if there was an advantage for us not to travel to the Virgin Islands, it's that we don't have a flight back that came back yesterday. We were able to come back Saturday night and get a true off day in yesterday and now have 2 days to prepare for Pitt. I like the Big Ten ACC Challenge better when we play at home. But I think it gives you a good sense after coming off 3 games in 3 days and playing 2 other power conference teams to see where you're at on the road and to judge that environment to prepare us for the Big Ten. We have to be better in the Big Ten. We know that. We know this is a sense of pride overall throughout the whole season, but in these games, in these next couple of days, it's also an area of where we have to be able to win the challenge, but individually win, I think, helps you in a recruiting sense. And when we were going through player personnel, I can go through a lot of the players on that Pitt roster that I'm pretty familiar with from back at George Washington and recruiting them, especially in that area of the country. So it has a lot more at stake than just the wins and the losses of the game. I think moving forward, you're looking at it not just the sense of pride of holding up the conference, but also putting your program in the best position to move forward.
Anything else for Coach?
I just have one side note. We actually have 3 really important games this week. So outside of being on the road at Pittsburgh and being at home LaSalle, our managerial group, known as Madisons Managers, received the number 2 seed in the Campus Rec Co-Ed division. They would have got the number 1 seed if their namesake hadn't lost a sportsmanship point in one of the games. But I don't think our managers get enough credit for the behind-the-scenes work that they do. We've had a chance to go out and see them play, and our players have been out there, and they play Thursday night at 11. But just wanted to make sure they get recognized because they had to reschedule their game because they'd be traveling. They were supposed to play on Wednesday. So, again, a third important game that doesn't show up on our schedule this week. Thank you.